Hey crypto family, so today I'm going to talk about if this is the end of the market downturn and where I think we're going from here. So looking at the market today, we can see pretty much, again, there's not much movement. A couple things are up a couple percent and then a few things are down a couple percent. So again, not really much movement one way or the other. It looks like we have reached that consolidation period. Looking at the Bitcoin chart here, we can see that it has found some good support around the $8,000 level. Yesterday in my last video, I was talking about, I thought there would be a little pullback. We did have that. We saw it hit a low of $7,821. And from then, it's bounced back above 8,000 and it's continued to maintain that level. So this is a 3-hour chart here. If we actually go to the daily chart, that'll give us a more accurate picture here. And we can see based off of the TD sequential, the charting analysis that I have here, that right now it's at a 7. So theoretically, if it continues this trend, then we could have 2 more days of bullish action before we see a reversal. Now looking at the RSI here, it's starting to get into that overbought territory. So again, just keep that in mind. It could reverse here pretty soon. So again, I'm probably expecting, we may see a little more upside here before we do see another pullback. Drawing some support and resistance lines. The previous resistance we had was at that $7,500 level. Since it broke that, now I'm drawing that as the new support. And then the resistance is around that $9,000 level where it tried to break that 5 times and it failed. So again, if we can push up and, get over this 9,000, then we can look at 9,500 and then, going up to 11,000 plus. So again, probably expecting us, we may get a little bit higher from here and then come back and maybe look at testing the $7,500 level. So again, just keep that in mind when you're trading and always use your stops accordingly. Now, looking at a couple news articles here. So here's an article published by CryptoCoin News, and it says, opinion, we are at the end of another cryptocurrency downward trend. So in this article, they explain a couple reasons why they think we're towards the end of the downtrend and a couple reasons why it happened. So again, if you remembered in last December, there was an influx of speculators. So people wanted to make a quick buck, thought they could make some quick gains in the short term. A lot of new investors came in and, taxi drivers were talking about it. Everyone's parents were talking about it. And that's when you kind of knew that, hey, this may be overextended a little bit. We may need to come back. So from that, again, we saw when Bitcoin had that reversal in January, a couple reasons, people getting ready to pay their taxes and just a lot of other things. The new investors panicked because they thought that Bitcoin would continue going up to 100,000, etc. And when they saw the price going down, some held, but then a lot of people panicked sold. And then on top of that, there was just a lot of news about regulators coming in, about ICOs getting shut down. You just had a lot of things going on, things with BitConnect. Just a lot of things shutting down and stuff and caused a lot of panic in the market. And I think it just had a snowball effect. And then we saw pretty much that's when we reached near that bottom of $6,000. And from there, we did another bottom of $6,500. But this article basically says the market's been exhausted. Tax season is about to end for the United States. So, April 17th, in 3 days, it's going to end. So that's when you're going to start seeing, that new spring of investors coming in. They're getting their tax returns, they're investing more money. And not to mention, you have a lot of these new people. You have IBM started investing into the blockchain. You have Ethereum platform, they're seeing significant changes such as transfer to proof of stake, network scaling. You have a lot of things and a lot of technological innovations that are happening, which will boost a positive impulse to the whole market in the near future. So again, just a lot of this stuff, I think, we've finally been exhausted, and I think we'll definitely start to see a reversal in the next month or two and start to see, Bitcoin going up to those previous highs that it did have. Now, another article I'll talk about is this crypto hedge fund called Pantera Capital. They wrote published this 7 hours ago, and they said Bitcoin will highly likely break 20,000 this year. So as you know, 20,000 was the height that it got to last year, and they think that's going to break 20,000 this year. And it talks about here that they say 6,500 was probably the low for the cryptocurrency, and they'll likely reach above 20,000 this year. And they talk about the recent price drop, and they said in December of last year, the CEO of Pantera Capital actually predicted that Bitcoin's price could drop 50% before it reached new highs. And I know a lot of people were giving them flack for that and, saying, oh, you're crazy. Bitcoin can never drop that far. Well, it did. And, it dropped below 7,000, which is a 65% drop. So, their prediction came true. And then since then, Bitcoin has been on a nice little rise in the past couple of days. And in their April newsletter, they talk about how they have rarely had such a strong conviction on timing. They say a wall of institutional money will drive the markets much higher. So several Wall Street players made steps into cryptocurrency as the Rockefeller's venture capital arm, Venrock, partnered with crypto investment firm CoinFund. And it says, additionally, Goldman Sachs executive reportedly left to join Michael Novogratz's crypto merchant bank, which Michael Novogratz, he's going to start his hedge fund, and he's really, really popular figure in the crypto community, really strong proponent of that. And then they also reported, the Soros Management Fund would begin crypto trading. So again, a lot of these millionaires and billionaires are getting into the cryptocurrency market, and they're not getting in. Some are getting in because they like the technology, but a lot are getting in because they see it as a great investment for gains in the long term. So there's a quote here I love. It says, if you can buy something at $7,000, which was $20,000, it's probably a good trade. So again, that whole quote by Warren Buffett, it says, be fearful when the markets are greedy, but be greedy when the markets are fearful. So just like now, not financial advice, just my opinion, but it's a great time to buy right now when we're still at these low prices. And I think there's a lot of growth coming on. And it says, a possible reason for Bitcoin's recent price upswing is a slowing down of a sell-off of crypto holdings in preparation for tax day, like I was mentioning, and then which is an explanation put forward by Fundstrat's Tom Lee for the general downturn since the new year. And then it says here, investment tycoon Tim Draper earlier this week says that he sees Bitcoin reaching 250,000 by 2022. And Draper's 2014 prediction, when Bitcoin was around $320, that Bitcoin would pass $10,000 in 2017, turned out to be correct. So again, you have a lot of these people with these accurate price predictions, and they're really bullish on where Bitcoin's going. And I mentioned Tim Draper yesterday in my last video, where he put out this prediction. You've probably seen a lot of YouTubers talk about it now. By 2022, a $250,000 Bitcoin, while it seems pretty high right now, if you think of all these different countries and people adopting Bitcoin, who aren't even in it right now, I think it's definitely an achievable goal. And hitting on that, CNBC's Brian Kelly actually supports Tim Draper's Bitcoin prediction of 250,000 by 2022. And Brian Kelly actually brings out some good points as to why he thinks that. So he says, noting an increase of institutionalized money into the crypto sphere, such as, again, Rockefeller's venture capital arm, Goldman Sachs executive, and Soros fund management. And then he says, the most common use case for crypto is citizens in countries with unreliable governments or banking systems. After being questioned by a friend who as to why anyone would risk losing 20% or more with a crypto investment, Kelly said, well, it's better than losing 100% if your assets are seized by a rogue government. So again, there's all kinds of talk about governments and stuff. It's a hot topic, and if you can have your money not controlled by the government, a lot of people see that as being, more advantageous. So I think he has a point there. In a lot of these third world countries, when the governments are kind of, you could say, shady and very corrupt, they see Bitcoin as that safe haven to keep their money. So I think it's definitely a good point he makes here, and just there's a lot of good points, moving forward as to why Bitcoin could break, its all-time highs of last year, which I think is very, very possible. So with that, I just wanted to give there's a couple news articles here and explain my position on where I think Bitcoin's going in the future. Again, it's good to see we've had some bullish action the past couple days. Always remember to take profits accordingly, but I expect, we may have a little more uptrend here, and then we may see a downturn, a couple days after that, maybe to the support of 7,500, but hopefully we'll break this 9,000 resistance and, hit new highs from there. So if y'all have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Like this video if you haven't. It helps spread my videos around. And again, I always do giveaways every 500 subscribers. So I'd like to show my support for the community. And please subscribe if you haven't. So until next time, thanks for watching.